Yo, welcome back to my late night spook show here on the horror, metal, and sometimes comics channel. I'm Hellhound, and a while back I counted down my top 10 favorite DC superheroes of all time, and that list has changed a little bit. So just to give the updated list real quick, from top to bottom, it goes Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, DC's Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, Martian Manhunter, Green Arrow, and Hawkman. Yeah, so those are my top 10 favorite DC superheroes. Now we're going to talk about my top 10 favorite DC supervillains. And for variety's sake, I'm only going to include two Batman villains, two Flash villains, and basically two Superman villains. Because if I had any more Batman villains, they would dominate the list. There'd probably be like at least 6 on there. So just for variety's sake, I'm going to try to include, as many different villains from as many different characters as possible. So let's go and get started. All right, number 10 is going to be Captain Cold, the Flash villain. Yeah, there he is. Leonard Snart. And, I'm sure a lot of people probably think he's just a poor man's Mr. Freeze. But Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, actually debuted a little bit before Mr. Zero, who would eventually become Mr. Freeze. He debuted in Showcase number 8, I believe, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, something like that. And then, Mr. Freeze actually is a little more interesting to me because he, has to wear the suit to keep himself a certain temperature, certain degrees at all times, and whereas Captain Cold is just a chilly guy with a freeze gun. But like I said, for variety's sake, I'm only going to include 2 Batman villains. I already have 2 Batman villains on here, so just to have more variety. And plus, Captain Cold may have possibly given Flash more problems. He's also closer to Flash's arch nemesis than Mr. Freeze is to Batman, so I figured I'd include him. So yeah, number 10, Captain Cold, the Flash villain. Cryogenic freezing powers, all about the icy cold. All right, number 9, Cheetah, who's Wonder Woman's arch nemesis. Most notably, the Barbara Ann Minerva version from the Bronze Age. This is her first cover appearance. Her first appearance was in Wonder Woman Volume 2, Issue 7. This is Issue 9. Yeah, there's been like 4 different versions of Cheetah over the years. There's been like Priscilla Rich and a few others. But Barbara Ann Minerva is my favorite, and yeah, Wonder Woman's arch nemesis, and yeah, she was the one in the movie Wonder Woman 1984. Even though she was only in it for as the Cheetah for 5 minutes. Played by Kristen Wiig, but yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it could have been a little better. All right, anyway, number 8, Two-Face, Harvey Dent, the Batman villain whose one half of his body was scarred by acid, or one half is his face, rather. And now he flips a coin to determine his crimes. He's obsessed with the number 2 and duality, and he has an inner struggle. Sometimes he's a hero, sometimes he's a villain. It's all about the double-sided coin. One side is, scratched, just like kind of, resembling his form, his scarred face. And it decides everything for him. Whether he's going to do heroic things or villainous things. Very interesting character, and he used to be Harvey Dent, the district attorney who would help Batman take down criminals. So they used to be allies, him and Batman and Commissioner Gordon. So yeah, very interesting character, very dark and tragic character. The themes of duality are very, very interesting, very intriguing concepts. So yeah, I always love Two-Face. He's my second favorite Batman villain. Harvey Dent. All right, number 7, Darkseid. The evil tyrant from another world called Apocalypse. Yeah, he's put Superman through hell and is mostly a recurring enemy of the Justice League. I kind of consider him the arch nemesis of the Justice League as a whole. So, he first appeared in an issue of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. And, he was a recurring villain of Superman, like I said. And then, he's one of the Justice League's deadliest foes. And, you can see him in the Snyder cut of Justice League. He's in that quite a bit. He's kind of sort of the one pulling all the strings, Steppenwolf's working for him and stuff. But yeah, Darkseid. Very, very deadly, dangerous antagonist. All right, next up is Black Manta, Aquaman's arch nemesis. Yeah, also known as David Kane, also known as David Hyde. He wants to take over Atlantis for himself. He wears his scuba suit that resembles a black manta ray. And he's really been a deadly force to be reckoned with against Aquaman. He's put the king of Atlantis through a lot of horrific ordeals. Yeah, him and his wife Mara have been constantly attacked by Black Manta and his deadly forces. Ocean Master is another great Aquaman villain too, but I prefer Black Manta. I think he's a little more interesting, and he was in both the live-action Aquaman movies. Yeah, Black Manta, very cool villain. All right, next we have Black Adam, Shazam's arch nemesis. Yeah, aka the ancient Egyptian Teth Adam, who, the Wizards. He was the original champion. He was like the original Captain Marvel, DC's Captain Marvel. Before he's renamed Shazam. That's a long story. But anyway, yeah, he was like their original champion of the Wizards, but then he turned against them. You believe he had too much power and killed them and the pharaohs and all that, and then they sent him away. But now he's back to cause mayhem for DC's Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. Yeah. And yeah, I thought I thought Dwayne Johnson did a pretty good job as Black Adam in the recent movie. And I really want to see him fight Shazam in a movie, though, too. You know, hopefully with this new rebooted continuity that's coming out. Yeah, sometimes he's an anti-hero, too, which makes him a little more interesting. All right, next up is Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, Barry Allen Flash's arch nemesis. Yeah, he's caused a lot of havoc for the Scarlet Speedster, and he's basically the polar opposite, even down to the inverted colors of the costume. Yeah, he's from the future, and he's come back to strip Barry Allen's world apart. Yeah, very interesting character. I really wish he could have been in the Flash movie, but they do a good job with him in the Flash live-action TV series, the Grant Gustin, where he's primarily played by Tom Cavanagh, like when he's in disguise as Harrison Wells. But yeah, Reverse Flash, great villain, one of my all-time favorites. Next up, we have Sinestro, Thal Sinestro, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern's arch rival. Yeah, he was formerly a Green Lantern himself and was kind of a hero there for a while. People looked up to him. You know, the rest of the Corps, he was like their idol. Yeah, he was like legendary, but he let the power get to his head, and then he started his own Corps with a yellow ring as opposed to a green one, with the power of fear over hope and courage. And yeah, formed the Sinestro Corps, you know, and then the Yellow Lanterns and all that, and yeah, he became evil and a very deadly force to be reckoned with, an enemy of the entire universe, and kind of a tyrant too. Yeah, Thal Sinestro, and he's been like anti-hero a lot too, so he's another really interesting, very fleshed out character with a lot of dimensions and a lot of sides to him. But yeah, Sinestro, my third favorite DC supervillain. Number 2 is Lex Luthor, of course, and he's interesting because he doesn't have any superpowers, and his arch nemesis is, of course, Superman, who has, you know, all kinds of powers. He's one of the most powerful beings on Earth, so, you know, so Lex Luthor has to really use his cunning and his intelligence to best the Big Blue Boy Scout. And yeah, Lex Luthor kind of does have a superpower that's its superhuman intelligence. He's a criminal mastermind. He's a genius. You know, he invents all these high-tech weapons and gadgets, and he's convinced the world a lot of times that he's a hero. He's even been president at one point. You know, a lot of times he turns people against Superman. He's very, very clever and very cunning and very, very dangerous. Yeah, he's a rich, corrupt, evil businessman, and he's kind of like an evil Batman, that he's, you know, rich and wealthy and powerful, but he uses his powers for evil, even though he tricks everybody into thinking that he's benevolent as opposed to malevolent. Yep, Lex Luthor, my favorite Superman villain, and his arch nemesis. Number 1, of course, has to be the Joker. I mean, was there any doubt? Batman's arch rival. Yeah, he's done a lot of damage in the Caped Crusader's life. You know, he's fought the Dark Knight many times, and he's killed Jason Todd, the second Robin. He crippled Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. He nearly drove Commissioner Gordon to insanity. He's killed thousands of people. He's very, very, very dangerous. And he commits crimes because he thinks it's all a big joke. He'll kill a bunch of people and laugh about it because it's all part of the punchline. And they're kind of two sides of the same coin. He believes that he can't exist without Batman, and like in lots of stories where Batman is like killed, the Joker feels empty and his life has no meaning. He says, you know, with no Batman, crime doesn't have a punchline. So it's a very, very interesting character. Some very intriguing themes there, you know. Yeah, this character just blows me away. He's been done very, very, very well throughout the years. And yeah, I like, of course, the Mark Hamill voiced version from the animated series, and several animated movies where he did the voice, and you know, lots of the live action versions have been great. The character's been in countless media. I'll be here all day if I list all the adaptations of the Joker, but yeah, great villain, great character. One of my favorite villains of all time, comics or otherwise. The Joker, the Dark Knight's arch nemesis. All right, guys, well, those are my 10 favorite DC super villains. Be sure to list your choices in the comments below. If I think of any honorable mentions, I'll list them in the description when I get to it. As always, thank you for watching my late night spook show here on the horror, metal, and sometimes comics channel. I'm Hellhound. Till next time, later.